Elon Musk is leaving his role as a special government employee in the Trump administration, with a White House official confirming to me tonight that he's going to start the offboarding process this evening, which essentially includes paperwork. It's not totally clear what else. But we did see Musk post this on his own website saying, "As my scheduled time as a special government employee comes to an end, I'd like to thank President Trump for the opportunity to reduce wasteful spending. The DOGE mission will only strengthen over time as it becomes a way of life throughout government." This is all coming as Musk has recently tried to distance himself from the administration to a degree, including when he criticized the president's big, beautiful bill, something the president was asked about today and essentially shrugged off.
Well, reactions, a lot of things. Number one, we have to get a lot of votes. We can't be cutting. We need to get a lot of support, and we have a lot of support. We will be negotiating that bill, and I'm not happy about certain aspects of it, but I'm thrilled by other aspects of it. That's the way they go. It's very big. It's the big, beautiful bill, but the beautiful is because of all of the things we have.
Here's what Elon Musk had to say about that bill, which the Congressional Budget Office has estimated would add more than $3 trillion to the federal deficit.
I was disappointed to see the massive spending bill, frankly, which increases the budget deficit, not just decrease it, and undermines the work that the DOGE team is doing. I think a bill can be big or it can be beautiful. But I don't know if it could be both. My personal opinion.
My source on all of this tonight is the veteran tech journalist, Kara Swisher. And Kara, it's great to have you here. What do you make of Elon Musk officially leaving his role that he is tonight?
Well, it's a long goodbye, isn't it? I mean, he seems to be leaving and going out. He needs to work on his company. This was inevitable that he was not going to stay there very long. And it pushed along by the fact that his businesses are a bit in distress. And so he needs to pay attention and do his actual job.
Do you think he's actually leaving?
I think he's probably frustrated by the pace of government. And when he goes back to his companies, he says jump and they say how high. At the government, they don't do that. And I think he found a lot more difficulty in finding real cuts and everything else. And I think they're only sending $9 billion in DOGE cuts which is nothing. It's a drop in the bucket, which means pretty much his effort was a failure.
Yeah, that's what they're planning to send up to the Hill based on what we know so far. But I mean, $9 billion might sound like a ton of money to someone who's watching, but when you think about his stated goal of $1 trillion to cut coming in,
$2 trillion at first,
$2 trillion initially, then that was halved to be more realistic.
Yeah,
I think that puts it more in perspective of how much there was this high bar that they did not reach.
No, it's what they spent on paper clips. I mean, it's really not a lot, and he didn't find it. He was able to do it because he made cuts in particular areas, some of which were regulating him, like foreign budgets, maybe attack NPR, attack things like that. But it wasn't significant cutting that they were talking about, which is reforming government extensively. And as he correctly pointed out, you can't have a bill that's big and beautiful. You can have one or the other. And Musk can do math, I think, and he understands the deficit. This $2.3 billion or more raising the deficit is very dangerous for this country, which was something I think he genuinely wanted to help fix.
Did the president's response when he was asked about Elon Musk saying, it can be big or it can be beautiful, it can't be both, which he said with a laugh there, but I do think is a point that he actually probably believes. Were you surprised that Trump didn't have a stronger response to that?
No, because he was just saying, yeah, that's the way it goes here up in there. I think he was acknowledging that this is how it happens, this is how the sausage is made, and I think Elon thought, because the way he runs his own companies, that he could just come in and trample everybody. And I think that was one of the problems. I think he bullied cabinet members. I think he ran over things. He took lion's share of the attention, the whole chainsaw thing, which is, thank God, a distant memory. And I think he did a lot more showmanship than he did actual work.
I thought what he said to the Washington Post in an interview was interesting. He said, DOGE has just become the whipping boy for everything. Something would go bad, something bad would happen anywhere, and we would get blamed for it even though we had nothing to do with it.
Oh, woe is me. So that's what, when you're on the big leagues, that's what happens. You have to take blame. And he attracted attention to himself, so he has no one to blame but himself in that regard. I mean, he wanted the attention, he wanted the power, he showed up in cabinet meetings, and then he was mad that people didn't agree with him and then started to complain about him, either on the record or off the record. So He's whiny like that in lots of ways. Everyone's out to get him, whether it's Sam Altman or people who don't like Teslas or Elizabeth Warren. It doesn't matter. He's always got some victimization thing going on.
Did it stand out to you that he wasn't wearing the typical hat that he's been donning in a lot of the cabinet meetings, the MAGA hat or anything about Trump?
No.
And instead he's wearing the shirt.
Occupy Mars. He wears that a lot. That's
Mars.
actually something he wears a lot. No, I think he'll still be around. I think they'll still want him for the money. There's very few people who can write a check that big for particular things. There's a lot of rich people, possibly a lot of easier to deal with rich people, I guess. But there's no one who could who really would bet that much, make that much of a bet like Elon does. And that is one attribute he has. His ability to take risks is higher than most people.
Yeah, and it's not like he's totally gone from Trump's orbit. I mean,
No.
he was just in the Oval Office when the South African leader was there, and
Sure
obviously
was.
a huge influence on how that went down.
Clearly, absolutely. I think he'll be able to call Trump up, but I suspect they found him a bit of a nuisance. That's what I understand from people there.
You mentioned his other companies, and today we saw a group of Tesla investors send a letter to him urging him to commit to at least 40 hours a week running the company, saying his outside endeavors appear to have diverted his time and attention from actively managing Tesla's operation, as any other chief executive officer or publicly traded company would be expected to do.
Correct. I know, that's the thing, is can we please have 40 hours of your week, which is kind of ridiculous. And Tesla's really got some real challenges going forward, including finding a car that people want to buy. And the original car is amazing, but you don't rely on a single car. You have to continue to innovate. And he's dropped the ball there, and others have taken it up. And now he's in a real jam, actually.
Yeah, he seemed to acknowledge that himself,
Well,
that he spent maybe too much time on politics recently, saying he did blame the media a bit, say the media is going to overrepresent any political stuff. He said it's not like I left the companies, it was just relative time allocation that probably was a little too high on the government side.
Oh my God, he was tweeting every 5 minutes all about politics. Come on, he always blames other people. Look at his Twitter storm that he used to have all the time. Now he's tweeting about his businesses mostly, but he spent all his time in a look at me situation. Here I am in the front row of the inauguration. Here I am jumping up and down on a stage. Here I am in the cabinet meeting. He has no one to blame but himself on the problems at Tesla. And the fact that competition exists, and that's what's happened here.
Well, and on I think some people may hear this and say, well, he was trying to do good, he was trying to find fraud in the federal government, but I was listening to Steve Bannon last week, and he was essentially saying, Republicans are trying to cut whatever they can from Medicaid for this bill, they're getting blamed by Democrats. He's like, where is DOGE? They were supposed to go after that or go after the Pentagon budget. Instead, they went after smaller projects that didn't net, the huge fraud people were expecting.
I think he's right. It was a lot of jazz hands, and exhausting jazz hands. And he sucked up all the attention. And so if he was going to act like a heat shield, don't be surprised that you get burned. That's my feeling. And, one of the things, he's still going to be a successful business person. One of his companies, Neuralink, just got a big funding. People, I wouldn't bet him out in the car business, although he has a much tougher road there. Obviously, Starlink has challenges, but it's doing really well. The space stuff is really interesting. I mean, if he devotes himself to that, he would be great. But this is going to be probably years from now seen as an alleyway he went down that just didn't work out quite as well for him.
Does it surprise you at all that this did not end in a massive blow up between Elon Musk and Trump that some people predicted might happen?
I don't know, TK, right? He starts by little criticisms, and I think I do tend to agree with him on the tariffs and free trade. Again, he can do math. Deficits are a real problem for this country, and here we have this big, beautiful bill that's going to raise them rather substantially, which is mortgaging the future of our children. It just is. That's the way it is, and I think he believes that, and the tariffs don't help the situation, including for his own businesses.
Kara Swisher, great to have you on set.
Thanks.
Thanks for joining us.